It is a shame that Arknights has such nice character design, but doesn't have a PC launcher that's native. I'm using Google Play Games. And not a lot of individuals play it as much as the larger games. I think this is a great game. I've mentioned this before. And now, I can't speak on the story because I haven't read it. However, the character design is nice. I like Lipuma. And technically speaking, she has larger chest than what you would expect me to like. I love Mint. She's not that good in gameplay, but I love her. Cardigan, despite being a low rarity operator, nice skins. Look at these outfits. I think this one is secondary to this one, but still, they're both cute. Now, I like Kazumaru a lot. Her base E1/E0 art is okay. The E2 art is nicer, but I think the skin, the outfit, this, adorable. I also just think I like the face. That's like 90% of why I chose this. Golden Glow, super cute. All her skins are nice, don't get me wrong. But this one here, first off, live today, so already in plus. But secondarily, larger chest than what you'd expect me to like, so technically speaking, it's out of my norm. Even the guys, I like. They're cool. And Province, first off, larger chest than expected. Second off, look, it's nice. I mean, sure, she's a giant floofy tail, which is like, 50% of the reason I love her. But I want to use her more. The problem is that when I go into IS, Wizardell is kind of just the de facto best option for a pretty easy victory. But still, now yes, there's Suzerain, but like, you all know I like her. I don't know if we're counting Project Red. Now, she's cute, I like her a lot, but I don't know if we're counting like the chest, the swimsuit. Nice though, I'll give it a plus there. I think this is a great game. I recommend it. And in honor of the PC client coming eventually, I did decide I wanted to go through and actually start from the beginning again, and subsequently also try to read either the events or the story. Has that been going well? I don't know. I've been focusing on Stronghold Protocol, Reclamation Algorithm, and IS, so I've been busy. However, I did read the operator record for Kazumaru. I like it a lot. I also read the operator record for Melantha. Now, I do want to eventually E2 a couple other characters to eventually, unlock their operator record respectively, but I've enjoyed these characters from what I've read. I don't know if they appear in the main story, and I will be watching the anime as well, because I heard that's a halfway decent way to get a grasp on things, and then I'll read the actual main game once I have a grasp on the characters. But either way, I don't know how I trust that, because the Blue Archive anime was an experience. Now, you can add me if you feel like it. I do feel like, this is I will be playing this. Okay, to be blunt, for any individual who's here from the Hoyo content I make, I play Arknights and Blue Archive and GFL2 more than I play any of the actual Hoyo games. I just make content on those. I don't even like the community of those games. I like the communities of the games I don't really cover. Arknights, Blue Archive, Girls Frontline 2, even Brown Dust 2, Reverse 1999, Azure Lane, which I will be covering more of on the channel here. But I play these games more. We don't talk about my sanity being kept. I had exams, and look. Now, using, I suppose, lower rarity, not even lower rarity operators, but different operators than I expected or different operators that I'm used to has been a really nice thing. I will say I have been saved many times by Kazumaru. First off, early on, if I deploy her, yeah, she costs 15 DP. But if I do deploy her, I do, technically speaking, have a secondary individual if I'm holding down two lanes right next to each other. Even though her shadow or her substitute can't necessarily hold the lane because it can't block, it can still deal damage, which might kill the enemy before they get past. She does have a module. This is the first time, despite all my time playing Arknights, I have given somebody a module. I don't recommend you get it, but like still. Even beyond that, her being a fast redeploy with a substitute has been incredibly nice for stuff like Reclamation Algorithm, if I need to farm out wood or kill an animal, which sounds mundane, but I'm trying to maximize the value I get of these characters, especially in integrated strategies. I have been trying to use different vanguards than Myrtle. I don't want to rely on Myrtle. I'm using Plume solely because the skin. Vigna I like as well because of the skin. Now I am running in a poor spot because of healers. I got the Susador skin. I don't have her, but I will get her. For casters, I'm set. I got Lapland, I got Golden Glow. That's literally it. And Mint is here because she's cute, and I might just go for her. I'll build her out later on. I got Suzerain. I got Virtuosa. She's not getting built. I don't know anything about her. I will build her if I like her within the context of the story / her event. Crown Slayer. Look, she's cute, but my god, I would just rather use Project Red. Cardigan is nice. Fire Whistle, look, I've seen the E2 art. I want it. Nagami is cute. However, Lutanota is also cute. Defenders really just have a nice game overall. And guards, I've just been using solo blades because of the fact that I don't want to use Lapland. She's a default option. I don't want to use Lapland. I don't want to use Thorns. I've been using these two, and they've been doing pretty good just because my healer options right now that I want to build are limited. But I think my biggest issue is the later you start AK, the worse off your situation will be when you go in for banner pulls. Not that necessarily standard banner or not even kernel banner, but more specifically, the worse you will be off for the limited banners. If you want Lapland, you can get Lapland because she's rate up. But If you want Texas, Virtuosa, you are in a position to where you have to hope you either get an off banner or pull 300 times. And that sucks. Now, it's possible you get them early, don't get me wrong, but it means if you want either characters that are older, like Rosemontis as an example, or Base W, you are in a position to where, good luck. Now, I will be pulling on you, but I don't really care as much for Ling or Shu, so I'm lucky there. It is an eventual goal. I will actually read her entire... I'm making a rule that I have to read the entire event story before pulling a character from that current event. I do want Aroma, but my god, I don't want anyone else on this banner. I do want Luna Cub, but I got you, and I got you. So I'm kind of in a position to where the other 3 characters aren't ones I care too much for, and a dupe of Jolly isn't gonna help. I want AF Yala because of the skin. I don't care too much about Cal. And I want Shamir, and I don't have her. I'll see how this goes. But either way, you'll be seeing more of this on the channel. I apologize to any of you Arknights players who either A, have to watch me be bad at the game, B, have to watch and listen to me be bad at the game, or C, have to watch and listen to me talk about Suzerain and Vermeil. Subscribe and I'll see you next time.